Alright, last one. Intelligent quotients, or IQ scores, are normally distributed with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 15. Determine the percent of individuals with IQ scores below 115, below 70, between 115 and 130, below 130, etc., etc. The top ones, the A through E, can all be done just using our standard deviations. We don't even have to calculate our z-scores on those. So let's start with our mean of 100. We'll go up 1 unit. Probably easier to use z-scores. Our standard deviation rules, the one standard deviation would only tell us between 85 and 115. If we want to know all below 115, we'll need to know our z-score. So let's go ahead and calculate that. The z-score would be 115 minus 100, the data value minus the mean, all divided by your standard deviation. And 115 minus 100 divided by 15 is 1. So we need to know what the area of the graph is below a positive 1. And if we go to our chart, 1.0, we get 0.8413, which is 84.13%. Alright, let's look at below 70. So that's going to be this area down here. And 70, if we find its z-score, take the data value 70 minus the mean 100, divide by 15, we get negative 30 over 15 is negative 2. So we'll go back to our table and look up a negative 2. We've already done that. 0.0228, and that tells us that 2.28% have IQs below 70. Below 70. What about between 115 and 130? We've already determined that 115 has a z-score of 1. We can quickly notice that 130 has a z-score of 2. So we'll take our z-score of 2 and subtract the z-score of 1. The areas. The area for a z-score of 2 is 0.9772. So this one will be 0.9772 minus 0.8413. And that gives us 0.1359. Alright, below 130, and I just realized I've put these on there so I can do each one on a separate page. 100, 130, we've already determined that 130 has a z-score of 2, and when we looked at the z-score for 2, we had 0.9772, or 97.72%. Between 70 and 115. 70 was a negative 2 z-score. 115 was a positive 1 z-score. So we'll take our value for positive 1, and that was 0.8413. And we'll subtract our value for a z-score of negative 2, which was 0.0228. And we get 0.8185, which is 81.85%. So 81.85% of people have IQs between 70 and 115. And finally, above 122.5, that'll be the most challenging out of this batch. So let's see, 122.5 minus 100 all over 15 would be 22.5 divided by 15, which is a z-score of 1.5. Now if I look up 1.5 on the table, it's going to tell me the left side. So I need to take my value from the table and subtract it from 1. Going back to my table, I see that 1.5 has a z-score, or a z-score of 1.5 has an area to the left of 0.9332. And when I subtract that off, I get 0.0668. Or another way of saying that is that 6.68% of people have IQs above 122.5.